We're on the 18th tee now, the final hole. Tim, tell everybody about what your goals were with this hole and what you've done.
Well, we've called it the cheat sheet, where players have gone down 17 to play 18. And so to combat that to the best that we could, we slid this tee over about 20, 25 feet as best we could, and we also lowered it. So we've made it as hard as we can from the back tee to go over or left of the trees, and made it very generous to the right side of the fairway for everyone else to play golf. I love this hole. Again, as we talked about on 17, and this is probably a par 4.5, as 17 is probably a par 4.5. So this will be downwind. I think a lot of people can go for it in 2 or have a short approach shot into the green.
One of the things I feel the first time I stepped up here was, I don't really want to go left. I just want to hit it as hard as I can, right at that middle bunker, which is a little over 300 from the back tee. You've got a big wide fairway, to come in from.
Right. This has a little bit of Tillinghast again, as 17 we talked, but you see there is a line of bunkers off the tee that come all the way in front of very front into the Farms Mix tall grass, and takes your eye all the way up the hillside. And so that takes your eye a little bit to the right, which counters the right to left shot. Tillinghast loved to do that, and I think this mimics that very beautifully. Sorry, Mr. Dye, but we did a little Tillinghast here.
Tim, you talked on the tee about separating 17 and 18 and safety, but as you walk up this fairway on 18 and you play this hole, I get this amazing feeling that I don't even remember that 17 is over to the left.
Right.
And the same thing on 17 when you look, think about 18. How'd you do that?
There's a great lesson on how to keep each hole separate, even though they're very tight. Royal Dornick, I think it's holes 5 and 12 are literally adjacent to each other. But not only do you separate them with mounding, but you separate them with elevation. And so you get a sense of there's nothing to your left. You really screen them out very effectively. So Royal Dornick has been so effective that it's been surveyed for golf course architects so that we could see exactly how they did that. And it's a very clever way of doing it, and we mimic some of that here.
Out here in the middle of the 18th fairway, probably where a lot of people will start laying up, you've got a couple cool features that members are going to see.
I tried to do a golf hole where not only would you lay up left and right, that this fairway really affords, but also we're pinching or compressing spots and then releasing in other areas. So you have to kind of judge distances to play to the wide areas, which are a couple hundred feet wide, and kind of avoid the narrower areas that are probably 90 to 100 feet wide. So that gives the member player has some choices of going over this where it gets very wide, or playing short of it, which is very wide. But right where we are, it's you have some narrowness here. It's maybe 80 feet wide. So
you have another one further up, just short of the green, so you kind of make your decision whether you're actually trying to get to the green or fully lay up.
I think the view to the green is important, and we took as much earth as we could out of the front of the green to try and make the green feel elevated for a par 5 green where it was relatively flattish before. And then again, I think the shapers did a marvelous job of putting a great background to this whole location as it kind of flows into the mountain beyond.
Your final layer really on this hole is Black Mountain in the distance, and it almost looks like it's part of the mountain range.
It's part of this golf hole.
I think as you play this, depending on what kind of drive you hit, where you want to lay up, where the pin is, it's a much more strategic second shot and third shot rather than just banging the ball as far as you can and not worrying about it. You're going to make some decisions based on, how far can I carry it, where do I want it to land, and what kind of shot do I want into what pin. The left side up here is really wide, but if that pin's in the left, it's going to be a difficult shot. If the pin's in the right, you can take that option and get it close, and probably vice versa on the right side to a front left pin. So
a thinking man's golf hole, we think.
A great finish, a par 5 that I think now you're going to remember as the final memory rather than just the finish of the golf course.
And maybe with a birdie, feel happy when you finish.